because those are Zimbabwe problems. I'm from Twagas.
Yes.
Is it so?
You've got no idea. I say to you,
and I've been watching your interactions with Ndebele and Shona people on your timelines. I mean, the tension, it's so fierce.
The tension, my brother, is really so fierce. If it will be a nuclear
full, so we understand what is Mtwagas.
Twagas is what we call in layman's term the Ndebele state. It's a nation that was built by King Mzilikazi when he set foot in those lands at the time, the north of the Limpopo, and it composes of many. And Rutendo is that
they both have South African IDs,
yes, and ANC has allowed that. I'll explain why. And to Rutendo and the likes of Maponga Maponga actually grew up in Ndebele. We know him very well in Solusi, and I dare say when I asked the elders that were looking after him when he was a toddler up until a boy, he has been always someone of questionable mental faculties. I'll put it in that way. And Maponga, he cannot vomit Pan-Africanism and then at the same time defecate anti-Ndebele tribalistic tendencies. Gukurahundi on its own it's something, those agonies, the pain and suffering, humiliation that we have never recovered.
Comment section. The comment section. So this genocide was committed by Shona people. Yeah. Manje, they are fighting in the comments, denying that this genocide ever happened, sounding exactly like the colonizers. They sound exactly, guys, the Shona people in those comment sections sound exactly like white people who speak when we speak about racism and colonization and the effects that it has till this day. I'm going to read you guys a couple of these comments. First comment I read was, honestly, Shona people don't have anything against Ndebeles. I feel like Ndebeles are angry at the wrong people. The first thing I want to talk about is the usage of the word Ndebeles. You see, when the commenter references Shona people, they say Shona people, but when they reference Ndebele people, they say Ndebeles. Doesn't it sound just like when white people call us blacks? I might be mistaken, but let me know, guys. And don't they sound exactly like white people when they say, black people are the ones always bringing up race. We don't see color, rainbow nation, yeah. And then they say, it wasn't us, it was our ancestors. You guys are mad at the wrong people. Guys, this is literally verbatim what white people say. Guys, I need to read more of these comments. This one says, basically, it's always Ndebele who raise topics that lead to tribalism instead of preaching unity, guys. Again, sounding like white people when we talk about the trauma of apartheid and the trauma of colonization. They will always say that, let's be one people, let's unite. Mind you, in this, I've seen two of her videos speaking about this. Nowhere in this video, in these videos did she say anything bad about Shona people. She just spoke facts of what happened during then. How is she causing tribalism? By speaking the truth? Anyway, I'm gonna read another comment. And then there's this comment that says, as long as you use Shona, you have included everyone. So to what end will this achieve? Wow, this comment is giving, not all men, not all white people are racist. When did she say that? Guys, it's actually so crazy. Like, this is actually so crazy. I never thought I would be seeing like Africans like denying genocides like this. Like, white people deny the genocides they committed against us. Anyway, I'm gonna tag the creator below. I wanted to stitch a video, but I couldn't.
24. This skit mark, I'm going to talk to you about the evil that has been unleashed on the Ndebele people in Zimbabwe. Now, this may be very disturbing to some people, may be enlightening to others, may be informative, But what we have to take into consideration, that this is a reality, and it's not a reality dating back to the 1800s or the 1600s. It is a current reality. I'm going to read a small extract out of a document that was titled Grand Plan for Restricted Circulation for the Eyes of the Shona Elite Only. Please pass to the most trusted person. Progress review on the 1979 Grand Plan. Now this is quite a long document, and I'm not going to handle it in totality. Out of this document, I just want to read this one section to you. And I do it because it is relevant for us here in South Africa as well. The subheading is Dominance. All the struggles that took place in this country since the 1830s were about dominance. Lessons from these struggles confirm the view that a human social group is either dominant or subordinate when it comes to issues of political power, especially in Africa. And then the heading, Mzilikazi. Mzilikazi fled from Zululand because there was no political space for him to be dominant. He therefore needed to look elsewhere for land where he could exercise power, authority, and dominance. But because there was no land not belonging to anyone, he targeted militarily weaker societies and found one in the Shona people, whom he viciously subdued and forcibly settled in their land, imposing his authority on them. Now, comrades, come to think of it, a settler is a settler, period. What peaceful coexistence can there be to talk about between the majority indigenous Shona and the occupying force of those in Ndebele extraction? A black settler is as unwelcome as a white settler in our country. Now, you have to ponder on these words, because there is a hell of a big evil that flowed out of this ideology. Now I'm going to talk to you about the Grand Plan, and it is headed ZANU-PF 1979 Shona Grand Plan, a Shona rule book that was designed to destroy Matabele land. Third version of the 1979 Shona Grand Plan, 2014 version. 1. We have driven Ndebele out of Matabele land and Bulawayo over the past 34 years, and our census back up this evidence and is a confirmation of the achievement of our Grand Plan. 2. Ndebele women are infertile. They are not worthy marrying, but only abuse and neglect. Look what even our wayward son, Tsangarai, did with that Ndebele girl who happened to be fertile. He operated in line with our Grand Plan objectives of impregnating those Ndebele women who are lucky to be fertile and then abandoning them as per our objectives. We are still doing well in diluting and damaging the Ndebele. What the fuck is that? If that is not pure, unadulterated evil, what is? 3. Ndebele men do not marry because we have made the majority of them jobless and economically poor. Hence their women are flocking to our people in huge numbers. They will continue to do so for the next coming years, and by the time they realize it, we will have wiped the Ndebele and Ndebele-ness out of their face of Zimbabwe. Comrades, we are doing well, and thanks for the great messianic leadership of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief of Defense, R.G. Mugabe. 4. The plan to destroy Bulawayo economically has spectacularly succeeded. Our census reveals that this is so as thousands remain jobless in Matabele land. 5. Our plan to destroy the Ndebele culturally and linguistically is still on course. We have deployed and we continue to deploy teachers who do not speak local languages to primary schools, and they are doing well, as evidenced by the fact that they are now running the Ndebele curriculum and scandalizing local languages and the Ndebele language examinations. 6. Realizing that we have done over the years, Ndebele people are becoming jittery. Therefore, we have deployed the security apparatus into Matabele land and made it a police territory. This is in anticipation of a possible uprising. Although this is still far from being a reality, we have got to be prepared for that eventuality and deal with them ruthlessly. Take note of that. There's a serious intention of unleashing violence on the Ndebele. 7. We have reclaimed Matabele land and most of our people are now owners of land in Matabele land, right under the nose, and they cannot do anything. 8. We realize what the majority of Ndebele people still idolize Joshua Nkomo, who gave Matabele land to us, and as such, we have erected his statue in Bulawayo, and this has proven magic for us. As they celebrate Nkomo, we celebrate his weakness that gave Matabele land to us. 9. We have turned our sword to the white men too, and we continue to do so without fear. We did strike fear into the white man's heart during the land invasions, and we continue to do so. There are some good Ndebele people who have worked hard to help us achieve our goals, and we have rewarded them. The late John Nkomo comes to mind. Professor Jonathan Moyo has been a dependable son of the soil who has been outstanding and managed to lame the ANC, Jacob Zuma, and the so-called big African power, South Africa. We defeated Mandela too. Obert Mpofu as magical and dependable to us. Simon Kaya-Moyo has not disappointed us either, and so is Kuchekaya Jabulani, the war veteran leader. This is just to name but few. Dumisu Dabengwa is trying to rebel, but it will not be for long. We are monitoring him closely, and if he becomes too big for his boots, we will deal with him ruthlessly. 10. We have taught both Ndebele and the white men who is the boss in Zimbabwe. They now know their place in Zimbabwe. 11. A few Ndebele people refuse to speak our language, and we should ensure that we criminalize this behavior through our security apparatus, and those who dare challenge us must be dealt with ruthlessly. 12. We have virtually taken over local government administration levers of power in Matabele land, given us access to local resources in this territory. We must accelerate the pace of resource exploitation in this territory to our benefit, while their so-called leaders remain silent. Long rule ZANU-PF, long live R.G. Mugabe, our only given Son of God, our Messiah. Now, this might be disturbing to you if you listen to that, but I'm going to go back to that original document of the grand plan, and I'm going to read something else to you that will make you jittery. Shona men have enjoyed the luxury of making Ndebele girls pregnant and then deserting them. There are several benefits from this. The young ladies lose out on education, hence on reliable sources of income, eventually resorting to prostitution. In fact, our Shona drama script writers have captured this when invariably all loose female characters play the role of a prostitute or infidelity are given Ndebele names such as Ma Ngube, Ma Kumalu. Secondly, we have managed to dilute the Ndebeles since children fathered and left by our brothers, illegitimates, are Ndebele by name but Shona by blood. This is a legitimate form of struggle. The end justifies the means. The true Ndebele population is shrinking and we can all be catalysts in this. This is so fucking evil that I don't have words for it. And now you must understand, at the back of all of this was that Gukurahundi. Now that was committed by the 5th Brigade. This was a special brigade that Mugabe set up, and they were trained by Northern Koreans. And with them, genocide was committed against the Ndebele. And in that plan, they tell that they specifically targeted all the successful businessmen in Ndebele land, all prominent figures, and they wiped them out. So they systematically and with a plan destroyed the best of the best in the Ndebele nation. And there are numbers being thrown around from 25,000 to 40,000 Ndebele that was killed in that. And the thing that is for me the most disturbing is that the international media did not make anything of this. And the Western powers did nothing to this. But what is more disturbing is that there is evidence that the British was fully aware of what was being done by Mugabe and his gangsters. So, on this day, after you've listened to this,
no, Manuela Dube, this is the problem. Lack of sophistication, lack of knowledge, lack of education. Problem is you lack mentors who teach you how things are supposed to be done in Zimbabwe. I keep hearing this complaint. No, Shonas are controlling everything in Ndebele land. No! Resources in a nation are just under the custodianship of the government. But who exploits those resources, who mines those resources is dependent on who applies for the mining right, who applies for the prospecting license, who applies for the claim. Claims are there to be applied for by you. And if people in Ndebele land really felt that they wanted to control the resources in Ndebele land, it's very simple. You simply go and apply for the mining license. You simply go and apply for the claim. You can even go and ask for a special grant or apply for a special grant from the president of the country if you've got the capacity. And that's what you should be doing in Ndebele land. Instead of telling each other to be always complaining that the Shona are taking everything, hey, the Shona government is oppressing us, yet you are missing opportunities because of being stupid. Use your heads. This so-called political party should be educating you how you apply for claims, how people in the diaspora can send their pounds, their dollars to apply for claims, to apply for mining rights, to apply for prospecting licenses, and to apply for special grants for things like coal, things like diamonds. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should spend your time doing instead of propagating nonsense propaganda while the Shonas are applying for these claims and making money. So since you don't have mentors, I'm going to mentor you and tell you what you're supposed to do. Number one, you're supposed to create a company, register a company, so that the activities that you use, the institution you use to apply for these claims is going to be a juristic entity. If you don't like the fact that it takes too long to apply for these company licenses or these company registrations, go and buy a shelf company. Get yourself a lawyer, one of these guys, these lawyers here. Get them to buy you a shelf company. Take the shelf company and immediately go and apply for your mining license or your claim or your prospecting license. And that gives you the right to pay your fee, get the right to mine where you've seen resources. Of course, you've got to do your geological surveys, you've got to do your homework. But let's say you've done your homework and you know where in Matabeleland the resources are, then you immediately ask to go and peg your claim. As long as that claim is not belonging to someone else, you can take it up. Then you go, you peg. Get a Ndebele guy to peg for you. Then the next thing is to employ your machines. Put your machines on the ground, you begin to mine. This is not rocket science. Why aren't you doing it in Matabeleland? You're waiting for Chonas to come and do it for you. You're expecting government to do it on your behalf. This is what Mutwakas is supposed to be teaching you. That's how you control a nation. That's how you create your Mutwakas nation, by you taking advantage of getting rights. Do you understand? You are never going to be given a birth certificate that allows you to control anything in Zimbabwe. You have to apply for the rights. Then you start mining. All those people in the diaspora giving you money to buy guns and pistols, could let's overthrow the government, should be giving you money to buy drills. Should be giving you money to buy, generators for you to mine and make capital, to make wealth from that Zimbabwe. Instead of you being individuals, whenever it needs you to create something economically beneficial, come together, collective, communal, bring your monies together, put it into resources. That's what the Chonas are doing. That's why they're making money. This is what was being done by Bo Roger Boka way back in the 1970s and 80s. That's what you should be learning and emulating and doing. Instead of coming here complaining about Chona this, Chona that, yet you have got no economic interests. So this is what I'm teaching you. I'm mentoring you. That on these groups, I told you, let's spend time teaching each other how to make the money so that the Ndebele waiter stops being bitter. The Ndebele criminal who's stabbing people in Joburg stops being bitter. We teach you how to make this money in Zimbabwe. Some of you might not be skilled to make money in South Africa or to survive in South Africa, but Zimbabwe has got opportunity for you if you start using your brains, if you organize yourself. So don't come here and say Matabeleland is being controlled by Shonas. You can control Matabeleland. Mutwakas can control Matabeleland if it became an economic unit. You can control Matabeleland. You can control every resource in Matabeleland by getting the rights. The Chinese are doing it. They're coming from China across an entire sea and buying rights in your own country. If you don't want the process of applying to government, you can even buy a claim. Any newspaper, you can buy a claim. You can rent a farm. You can apply for land to farm. But the problem is you guys are not organized. You guys are so negative that you miss the opportunities in front of you and you are ignorant. This lack of education, this lack of research, this point you've got people like Bokena and Appa wasting time being intellectual over the wrong things instead of teaching you how to apply for a claim, teaching you how to apply for land, teaching you how to create a company, how to register a company, teaching you how to buy a shelf company. This is what Bokena are supposed to be teaching you here. But they're teaching you to be dumb, stupid, because all they teach you is to hate your own country and not to see opportunities. So you've become pessimists. All you see is negativity. The Ndebele has become a negative person who can't even see opportunity in their doorstep. You've got Lupane gas there. You are wasting it. Then when the Shonas go in there and we take up that opportunity, you're going to be bitter. Go. Get on a plane. Go to Russia. Write letters to Russia. Tell Russians. Tell people in Europe that there's gas here and we've got an opportunity here. We've created a company and we want you to come and help us to leverage this opportunity. That's what you should be discussing as Mtwaras. Not this trying to take a nation that you can never take. You should be looking to how to become wealthy in that nation that is very rich. How to become wealthy with resources that are in Matabeleland. Wake up, man, Nina.